Okay, a little bit of NXT. Now, just to get this out of the way, I know several things has happened, and I haven't made any Gump reports or Gump goodness. I've been having some issues, and it's been hard to focus. But I want to address some of them now. The Tessa Blanchard situation with CMML. I saw Sean Rossap. I saw his reporting of it. Has she left because of CMML telling her either stay with us or go with the TNA, and she chose to go with not TNA but CMLL? I'm going to just say this. If she's been working CMML more than TNA, whose fault is that? Is it because TNA hasn't given enough money or enough things to do? Or it's just that CMML is just a more lucrative thing for her? Now, I do know that CMML is dealing with AEW and they don't want to cause friction between the two. And they just told her, choose or go. And she made her choice right now. At least that's what it looks like. Of course, it's not been 100% reported in the back. They said they don't know, it's speculation. But SAP usually has some good insights and good sources, so that could be the reason. Now, when it comes to Vince, this one I gotta talk about. Vince McMahon has finished his case with Grant and the shareholders that were pissed off because they did not get all the money they wanted from the merger. Vince screwed them in that merger. They got paid off. Vince now has made a request to do private arbitration, which originally that's what he wanted. Now he's got it. We don't know what type of money that Grant's going to get. She's going to get a lot. So Vince basically has avoided 2 bullets now. But I know many people are going to say, Vince is coming back. Vince is going to run WWE. He's coming back. No. Let's make this very clear. I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to try my best not to take long with this. If Vince came back, it would be a liability to WWE. And as the CEO, not the owner of WWE. Remember, guys, Silver Lake has the majority shares of Endeavor, which means they own WWE. Ari, he already knows, if Vince came back, it would be a liability. It would be a problem. Not just because that he would act like a tyrant, but the point is, in liability in this situation where we know that he's done a lot of things, and there's a good possibility he could cause havoc when it comes to corporate. They won't go for it. I do not believe Vince will come back. And you shouldn't want Vince to come back. Let's make it clear. Vince is over 80, guys. This is not about how intelligent he is. This is about him being an 80-year-old man who spent the last couple of years running an investment firm and trying to keep himself from going to jail. This is not about if he can run WWE. It's the point that he's incredibly old at this point. No one's saying he's dying now. He could live to be 100 like his grandmother. But the point here is this. You do not need the image of an 82-year-old man running WWE's day-to-day operations. And particularly if he acts the same way as he did before the merger. This is what people don't want to hear. Vince didn't make anyone feel comfortable working with them unless they're the older generation of wrestlers who owe everything they got to him. The younger generation of wrestlers, they're not going to get a fair shot. You think Uber Femi's going to get treated right? He will not. Vince will write the most outlandish shit for him or not even do anything with him if he's not in the mood. So no. But do you like Triple H's work? No. You know why? Because Triple H is basically doing exactly what I said a while ago. There is no guarantee how long Triple H was going to be there, and sooner or later he would be replaced. I said we don't know who's going to replace Vince. It was Triple H. And now Triple H is going to get replaced, possibly before the end of his contract of 3 years. It is obvious. Corporate doesn't want the people who originally ran WWE. They're going to get rid of Triple H. It's going to happen, and when it does, and it will, they're going to replace him with someone in network. I truly believe that. I do not believe that The Rock is going to be the one who's going to get this opportunity. So I just wanted to say that. Now, let's generally talk about, what do we get here? We got roughly about 5 matches and some story before we get to the Great American Bash. First match, we get Tatum Heights versus Drake. I'm just going to call him Drake of Vanity Project. Whoever wins gets the Evan Bourne shot. Well, not Evan Bourne, but Miles Bourne. I always call him Evan Bourne because of the supremacy. Best way to remember. But let me give it to you like this. I didn't really care about Drake in this spot because I knew it was going to be Tavion Heights. They got that story. It's one of the few stories that has been carried over for the last year or so easily, that they've been around each other. They were part of the No Quarter Catch crew. They both decided to leave the No Quarter Catch crew. They have now been working on their own. One of them has a championship. The other one has not been able to get it. And it was eventually going to be head-to-head eventually, and that's what we got. I'm feeling that. But I wasn't feeling Jasper, what was his name? Jasper Drake. Next, Speed Tournament. I'm gonna bundle them together, both of them. Did I care about Thea Hale and Izzy Dane? No. Did I believe Izzy Dane was going to win? Yes. Did not think Thea Hale was going to win. And the story between her going after the Speed Tournament with the Ring Quarter Catch crew at this point, Ring QCC, I have to say it like that. Do I care about Ren Sinclair? No. Do I care about Izzy Dane? Yes, because of the story she's doing with the culling. But I still, as it stands, I still don't believe she's staying in the company. If they don't move her up by the end of the year, what are they doing with Izzy Dane? Not much. She's just there to job for people. That's how it feels. Yeah, she'll get a title here and there, but she doesn't feel important. And she should. Next, the match I liked the most. And this was a heavy women's match show. It was. We get Natty versus Jada Parker. And to see who is the better wrestler. Let's make this very clear. Natalya Neidhart can wrestle her ass off. And I don't understand why WWE didn't let her go to TNA at least once. She's gone to GCW, if I remember. She's gone to NWA. She went to Japan, at least I believe. She also went to AAA easily. Why wasn't she allowed to go to TNA? I said that quite a long time ago, and she should have at least done one appearance. They chose not to. They thought she's too good for TNA. Now you can see what I was saying about WWE treating TNA. The match was good and she won. Now the question is, what does this really mean for Miss Parker? Yes, she got a rub from Natty and showed that she can wrestle. Girl can wrestle very well. She did pretty much chain wrestling pretty well. But what's going to happen with Miss Parker, and what are they going to do with Natty now? Next, you had, let me give it to you like this. When it came, I forgot to bundle the Speed tournaments together. Let me give it to you like this. Ariana Grace trying to get the Speed tournament title. Well, Speed title. It's a heavy downgrade from the TNA title, but I'm not too surprised because she was a minor player. Like I always said, and I hate to say this, but pretty much NXT only sent the low-hanging fruit to TNA. That's what Ariana Grace is, low-hanging fruit. And she went up against Lola Diggs. Now, I want to make this very clear. Did she wrestle well? Yeah. But did I care? No. She had some very good moves, but unless I see more from her, I don't think of anything. I know, almost forget about Natty. Seeing that the Keita Alliance is still there, Makes me happy. I don't really care about Petrovic. I don't hate her. I just don't really care that much about her. But Nikita Lyons, that's my woman. I was glad to see her. Next, let's go to the video segments. The opening of the show with Zaria, with Kendall Gray, with Lola Vice, with did I care? Yes, but then no, because you cut off Zaria, and I didn't like that. Now, when you see Tony D with Nadaku, it's interesting to see that pretty much they're kind of a reflection of each other. Nadaku had a family. Tony D had a family. Nadaku did whatever he could to get the titles that he had. So did Tony D. So essentially speaking, they're both kind of a reflection of each other. But Tony says he doesn't need family, while Nadaku's got to prove that he doesn't need family either. So this is what we're getting. The contract was there. Nadaku didn't sign it. And Tony D did. He said he'll sign it next week. So the question's going to be, what are we really going to get in this match? That's going to be the big question. Wilds. Wilds VidPack. Did I care about that VidPack? It was a little more interesting to know what he was, particularly that he had on his hand, his fingers completely screwed up because he messed up I believe a twisting backflip he did. He was teaching himself how to do it, and it must have broken his hand and made it impossible to use his hand anymore properly. At least they gave us more content with him, but I'm still not feeling him. Still not. They're going to need to do something with him. Next, the final match. Let me give it to you like this. Did I need to see a coexisting match? A Ted Long match? Because that was what was set up at the very opening of the show when they stopped Mr. Stone from even saying it, and it was Lola that said, we already know the deal. Just pair us together and get it over with. I'm like, I didn't want to see a tag match of coexisting. I didn't want to see it. Even if they didn't do it, I didn't want to see it. It wasn't a bad match. And it was Lola Vice getting the back fist to Zaria, who is the North American champion. You couldn't let Kendall Gray take the pin from Zaria. You couldn't let her have it, could you? You couldn't let maybe Kiana Jordan, and I know that wouldn't have been wise, but you couldn't let Kiana Jordan do it? It had to be Zaria, who just had the title from last week, who shouldn't have got it. It should have been given to her in a Great American Bash. Yeah. And then you have Tatum Paxley basically distracting her, which you kind of protected her. But then I'm not happy that you got Zaria, who has spent over a year and a half building her character with Soruka and finally getting the payout. Within the first week, within a week, you have her job to the world champion. What are we doing? You could have let anyone else do it. But no, you let the world champion beat the North American champion. I do not agree with this. And yes, Tatum came to make it possible for the distraction for it to happen does not mean it's better. Honestly, this bad booking for the North American champion, I'm going to use that as the title. I don't understand why they did that. Why? What is the point? So they can have that feud with Tatum? It doesn't work. It doesn't. Because in the end, you had to job out your North American championship to make the Tatum Paxley job work. And I don't think it was needed. Particularly, this should be done after the Great American Bash. Not before. It's just me. Peace.